Hello and welcome back. In this lesson, we're going to add the Show Chef feature to our app. Right now, we can add a chef, we can edit an existing chef, but we don't have a way of displaying the chef. So first, let's go ahead and check out the route for Show Chefs page. Okay, so here I'm going to type in rake routes, or I'm going to do grep chefs. Okay, so we see that the show chef route, the URL pattern is chefs/ID. Okay, so now we have enough information to construct the show action on our chefs controller. So let's go ahead and do that. So in our chefs controller, go to the bottom and then under update, define show. Okay, so what information are we getting? What information is being passed to us, right? So from the URL, we're going to get the ID, right? As we can see over here, for show, you're going to get the chefs and then you're going to get the ID that's going to be passed in, right? Because you're clicking on the profile of an individual chef in order to view that chef's profile, right? So that ID is going to be passed in. So that's how we're going to grab the chef object to display. So let's go ahead and do that. So under here, we're going to create an instance variable, then chef.find, which is the pattern we've been using for the new and edit, for the, the edit and update actions. Params ID. Okay, so now we have a chef instance variable. So now we need a view to display the chef. Well, before I do that, I'm going to start the Rails server. Okay, I'll reload the page. And I want to do something like this. Chef and then 2. Okay. No route matches for get chef 2. Whoa, whoops. It has to be chefs. Okay, so missing template chefs show, right? So the routing's working, but we need the template. So let's go ahead and build the show template. So if you go under views and chefs, we see that we don't have a show.html ERB. So let's create that. Right click, new file, show.html.erb. Okay, so following our pattern, we want to give this page a title, right? First thing. And then after that, we want to display the picture of the chef, or an image, or the gravatar. And then we would want to display a listing of the recipes, like a summary listing of the recipes that the chef has created so far, right? So if you remember, we already have this code that displays the gravatar for the chef. So I'm just going to copy this from here and then make some modifications as we need. So I'm copying this from the show recipes page, right? Under recipes folder, the show.html.erb. Just going to copy that. And actually, I want to copy the title also. So and I'll make modifications as I need. Okay, and then first thing I want to do, the title, I have a chef instance variable, so I'm going to say something like this: chef : then space because I want to say the chef, and then I want to display their name. So chef, not chef name. Okay. And over here, I want to do div class row, yes, and for right center, that will also work. Gravatar for, so we don't want recipe.chef, we want chef, because we have the chef instance variable, so chef. Size 200 works. And after this, I want a line, so a horizontal line. And then I'll get rid of the portion where it says the brought to you by, because we're already displaying the name on top. And then close the div tag. Okay, so let's see how that looks. I'm going to reload this page. Okay, so we see chef name and we see the image showing up, right? But I wanted this image to be in the center, not on the side. So let's see what's going on there. So we have the div class row, and then, oh, pull right. This is where that's coming from. So we want this in the middle. So span of 4 is okay, but we want to offset, and we want it to show in the middle. So call md offset 4. So it'll skip the first 4, and then it'll display the gravatar in the middle. So let's try that. Okay, perfect. So at this point, I want to display the recipes right here. Each recipe created by the chef, right? So how are we going to do that? We're going to use will paginate for this, right? We want to paginate through all of the, we want to display the pages, and then we want each page to show a certain number, because we don't want all of the recipes. Let's say this chef has 100 recipes. We don't want all of them to show up in the same page, right? And also, if you remember, we don't want to pick up something. We don't want to write code like recipes.all, because you know, we want to only pick up certain number of recipes at a time from the database and store it in each object that we use. So let's go ahead and do that. So first I want to display all of the recipes, right? So what do we need? We can refer to the recipes to something like this, right? At chef.recipes, and then iterate through, right? We can do that. So let's go ahead and build the index view. Now, if you remember, we have an index HTML ERB file for our recipes, right? So I'm going to copy some code from here. So here you see recipes.each do recipe, and it shows pretty much what we want to show over here. The recipe name, and then summary, description, when it was created, and then an ability to vote on their recipe, right? So I'm going to go ahead and copy this part of code. We don't need this part because we already coded that. So from here, I'll copy this part. So this is the recipe name, summary part, and it will also have a link to the recipe path to show the recipe, right? Okay. All right, we seem to have a bit of a problem with formatting. Let's fix that. And then all right. Now we're missing our div class of row here, so I'll add that. Div class equals row. Okay, so now let's check it out. So we have a row, we have span 6 for a well, we have now recipe name. We don't have this, right? Because we have to iterate through the recipes created by the chef, which we'll add. So let's go ahead and add that. So something like this, at chef.recipes.each do recipe. Okay, and then I want to end this here. And let's fix the indentation. Okay, so we have a row, we have this. Now I want it to display in the middle. I want to display in the middle of the page. So if you remember, the way to do that is to add in an offset. So call large and then offset 3. Okay, that should work. Then link to recipe.name, that works. Recipe path recipe, that also works. Then we want to display the recipe summary. Okay, so far so good. We have the created at and updated at information. That also looks good. And then over here, we want the voting, which is in our case the thumbs up or thumbs down, which also looks good because we have the recipe object that we're iterating through. Okay. Let's see if we have closed and opened all the div tags correctly. We did that, and then this one should, okay, that looks good. This one should be closing the row. Okay, so let's see how that looks. Okay, good. So here are all the recipes that the chef has created, right? Now the one problem here, if you notice, is that we don't have pagination. I mean, we're lucky here. This chef only has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 recipes. Let's say we only want to display 3 recipes per page, okay, and add pagination. So if you remember from the recipes control, from when we built the display of the show recipes or index recipes, this is fairly easy to do because we have the pagination gem, right? So let's go ahead and build that. And also we want to say something like recipes over here instead of just the image and then just starting the display. We want to say the recipes are being displayed. So let's go ahead and build that.